Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, my name is Demigod, Shmurda here. Hello and welcome back to another video and welcome back to another episode of Arrowverse Analysis. Death can be a very difficult thing for people to overcome, especially when it happens so suddenly. However, though it may be morbid, death can also present us with a better look into the psyche of the characters in a film or series, as is the case with Arrow in the wake of the death of Sara Lance. During Arrow's first two seasons, the writers never fully embraced the dark tones of the series, but Season 3 was decidedly different in a lot of ways. With Season 3, the writers began to push the boundaries of what you could and couldn't talk about in a superhero story. And while later series like Superman and Lois would do that as well with Lois Lane's cancer storyline, you can't deny that Arrow was the first to do it. Or at least Arrow was the first to do it in live action. Seasons 1 and 2 were grounded, but that didn't make them dark. Season 3, however, embraces its darker tones, and does it in all the right places as well. Case in point, Sara Lance's death. This is the kind of impact that death can have on your characters and your story. Through the exploration of character deaths, we may get to see characters feeling things and acting in ways we never would have seen them act otherwise. Arrow's first two seasons never really delved into the impact of character deaths, despite the whole premise of the show being that Oliver essentially came back from the dead. In fact, I'd argue that Arrow never fully covered the grief that Oliver felt over the death of his father, Robert Queen. Believe it or not, you had to go to The Flash in order to get the full scope of how Oliver viewed his father's sacrifice.
It's my birthday. Today. I didn't want to do anything, but Iris threw this party, and I should have been grateful. All I could think about was everyone who couldn't be there. Frost died fighting Deathstorm. Caitlin died trying to save her. I fight some random mad scientist. I get 3 extra years to live. How's that fair?
Life is a lot of things, Barry. Fair isn't on the list. When my father sacrificed himself, when he gave me my extra years, I was wasting them saying, Ollie, if you cross one more name off the list, if you save your city one more time, then you'll absolve yourself of all of this guilt. And I was wrong. This guilt is never going to go away. It is something that you have to learn to live with.
I'm not sorry, I needed to find a way to talk about this scene. It's such a good scene. Whether anyone agrees with the Flash's interpretation of Robert Queen's sacrifice or not, I now accept this as the only canon explanation for Oliver's crusade in Season 1. And it all results from a character death. While there are many negatives associated with the death of Sara Lance, this episode proves that there's a lot more to it. Most of this episode's dialogue and themes push boundaries even Seasons 1 and 2 didn't dare to touch. And in my opinion, it's amazing to see dialogue like this on a CW show. The dialogue in this episode is truly fantastic, some of the best in the entire show. And it's insane to me that people just miss this episode when talking about Season 3. This is generally regarded as just being the League of Assassins season, but this episode proves that it's so much more than that. And rather unfortunately, this is both the first and last occasion of a show that's still canon to the Arrowverse feeling truly, for lack of a better word, deep. I can only think of a handful of episodes that get even remotely close to how human the characters feel here. I was originally going to do Season 3's first 2 episodes as one longer video, but I've since decided to split them up into 2 separate full breakdowns just because of the sheer amount I had to say about them. And what I had to say was vastly different between both episodes as well. If this is your first episode and you're wondering how my rating system works, there's a detailed description down below along with a link to all my other episodes of Overanalysis. But I encourage that you watch this one first. I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. Before we jump into the episode, I need to make a quick amendment to a counter. You'll notice that the "you have failed this city" counter increased from 18 to 19 in the last episode, but I had to make a last-minute adjustment to the Season 1 look-back video, and I decided to count each individual instance of Count Vertigo saying Oliver's catchphrase during the episode Unfinished Business. Because I decided to edit clips from the last 2 episodes out of order, the counters don't entirely match up, so I'm gonna amend that real quick. The "you have failed this city" counter is currently sitting at 22 uses. With that out of the way, let's return to the overanalysis. After an insane premiere cliffhanger, Jake Coburn and Keto Shimizu returned to pen the episode Sara, which premiered on October 15th, 2014, and was directed by series veteran Wendy Stanzler. In the wake of Sara Lance's death, Team Arrow takes it upon themselves to find her killer. However, the team becomes splintered as they each try to figure out what her death means for them in their own ways.
My name is Oliver Queen. After 5 years in hell.
So this is the first time that we ever hear Oliver say, after 5 years in hell. During seasons 1 and 2, it was always after 5 years on a hellish island. But now they've changed it to after 5 years in hell because Oliver did not spend 5 years on the island anymore. And yes, I do watch the intro sequence in full every single time.
I didn't know where else to take her.
Yeah, that's fair.
We just got her back. It's not fair.
That sucks. I do appreciate, though, that this feels like it has a lot of impact, and they spend an entire episode grieving her and trying to solve her murder. And Oliver is in shock.
We'll take up position here. I don't have a target. You do.
I just want to point out, Waller knows exactly who the target is and wants Oliver to kill him because she's petty as fuck. Waller doesn't even need to be on screen, and she's written in character, man. Hey, Tommy!
You know, Sarah used to have a stuffed animal. It was this old, worn-out shark that she got from a Sterling aquarium. And now that my sister's dead, the only thing that I can think about is finding that dumb stuffed animal and putting it in her arms.
Damn.
Whoever did this, I'm gonna find them.
We're going to.
Your father is gonna need you.
Telling him now, it would kill him.
That injury that Quentin took that I cut out of the last episode, it left him with a heart condition, just for future reference. So, yes, this might actually kill him to find out. I don't believe Laurel's being hyperbolic here.
But I know that a bar is the last place I should be.
Yo! Character growth! Holy shit! Pretty sure they reused this exact rooftop set for the League of Assassins duel in Season 4. Whether it's actually the same set or not, I'm gonna headcanon that it's the same building now, because Malcolm is enough of a dick to choose that that's where he would want to fight Nyssa. The place where he killed the love of her life, yeah. Ooh, there's the League of Assassins theme. That really sucks that he can imagine himself doing that.
You don't have to do this right now, man.
It's the only thing that I can do.
Listen, I get it. Military training. Your friend just shot you. Just keep fighting. But Oliver.
I'm fine.
Another archer in town. Seen this guy's work before?
I might have. Who's the victim?
Some corporate financier from Kurok.
That was kind of cool, actually. All right, and here we get our first look at Komodo, played by Matt Ward. The general getup is, it's very much a costume that you would give a one-off villain. I really hope that Laurel cleans this jacket off before she becomes Black Canary.
She was always so strong and brave. I always envisioned her as this sort of Amazonian warrior.
Wonder Woman reference, possibly?
I was so jealous.
Callback to Time of Death.
You have any idea what other archer could have done this?
There aren't that many of us. Maybe 10 that I know of, and most of them are in the League of Assassins.
Cool that Oliver actually researches other archers.
He hit again. Security cameras can't get an angle.
Then who's that?
Just some low-level dealers.
You might be a witness. Will Lila give you access to Argus's database?
To find out who did this, Lila will give us access to Argus.
I need a list of everyone on their radar, assassins and mercenaries who use a bow.
Why am I pointing a gun at my best friend?
When you logged into your email, it set off an account alert. Dead men don't check their email, Oliver. Waller needs you. Whether you're the one who pulls the trigger or not, she wants Tommy Merlin off the board.
Roy, why are you looking for Thea?
Oh, bringing up the note from the finale.
Oliver needs to see this.
Please don't do any secret-keeping bullshit. Although if there was going to be a time for secret-keeping bullshit, I guess it would be now, when Oliver is grieving the loss of the love of his life. Maybe we can keep this secret for a little bit.
You have got to be kidding me.
Where are you going?
There's someone I need to kill.
That is a loaded line coming from this character.
You told me you had a choice. That years ago you could have cured Slade, but you chose to kill him instead. This isn't happening because you're not willing to be a killer. It's happening because you were one.
You are rich, you are impulsive, and frankly, you are the creepiest former stalker that I have ever had to deal with. And believe me when I'm telling you that that is saying a lot. And what are you doing to our old offices?
Would have been fun if she referenced that lacrosse player that hung outside her house in whatever grade it was.
So I get you, sitting outside my house like that lacrosse player my freshman year of college.
I'm hosting an event tonight. Pledge drive of sorts. I bought the holding company which owns and operates all 20,000 Tech Village stores. So you can either work for me here, or you can work for me there.
Or I can quit.
Most girls would be flattered that I spent $1.2 billion to hire them.
I am not most girls, and I don't need this. Or you.
I piss people off on a daily basis. It's part of business. And so I have enough experience with people being angry with me to know when they're really angry at something else. You right now are not angry at me.
Money won't fix this problem.
Money won't solve most problems, but talking helps.
It's true.
I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah, that's fair, Felicity.
It helps to remember that it gets better.
He gives a shit enough to know when to back off, and I like that. You dumbass. You dumbass! He punched him in the...
Someone was murdered here.
It was a black face mask.
I got a list of archers 20 long, man.
How many of them wear masks?
Simon LaCroix.
I didn't notice it before, but yeah, there's an error here. There's an M where this O should be in Komodo. None of those sound effects were timed correctly. Wait, hang on. Can confirm Starling City has a McDonald's. Look very closely here. LaCroix loads, and he loads a second time. This shit lasts nearly a minute and is one of the worst action scenes in the whole show.
Got away.
Get on your bike and go after him. Shoot at him as he's getting away. You have options.
No, I didn't tell you I was taking the jet because I knew you would freak out like this. Listen, if Oliver is still alive, if he is still here... Look, why don't you just go back to banging your Pilates instructor, okay?
That was a very nice, very long take with no cuts of Tommy just walking down into different rooms. Why can't we have more fights in early Arrow that are like that? Like a nice, long cut is all I'm asking for, and I don't think that's much to ask. Also, Tommy, you know goddamn well Malcolm is not fucking his Pilates instructor. He abandoned you for 2 years because your mom died. He is trauma-stricken for the rest of his life, my guy.
I'll just be here searching for my best friend.
I wonder if Oliver and Tommy are best friends. It's not like they've mentioned it like 5 times.
Sarah's killer's still out there, which means that every minute that we waste down here...
I know. You don't need to tell me as if I don't already know.
You're right, and I apologize. I just need your A game right now, Felicity.
I don't have it.
At least he apologized. You gotta credit him with that. Felicity told him he was doing something wrong. He acknowledged it. He apologized, which seemed kinda half-assed, but at least he said the words. At least this scene does feel human. And I say that this feels very human because I have this kind of interaction all the time. You would be surprised how easy it is to stress me out. And when I get stressed out, I raise my voice. And when I raise my voice at people, I immediately apologize because I recognize you shouldn't take that tone of voice with people, no matter who it is. So yeah, this kind of interaction happens a lot more in daily society than you might think it does. They're not treating Oliver like a character, they're treating him like a person, and I like that.
Our friend was shot with arrows and fell off of a rooftop. Her body is upstairs right above us in a freezer because we don't know what to do with it.
Oh, fuck!
So I am so sorry, Oliver, if I have feelings, but maybe if you did too. I'm sorry. That was me. But this is Sarah we're talking about.
And Felicity also immediately realized that she said something fucked up and apologized. Maybe it's just in the early episodes, but the slower scenes in this season really do work for me. Also, the fact that they're just keeping Sarah's body in the freezer of the club is really sad and really dark. One of my new favorite details about this scene. Listen to this line again.
Her body is upstairs right above us in a freezer because we don't know what to do with it. With her.
Felicity says, with her. Because even though Sarah is dead, she's still a person.
How can you stand there being so cold and rational?
Because I don't have the luxury of falling to pieces. Everyone is looking to me to lead. If I grieve, nobody else gets to.
That's fucked, dude. He's right, but that's fucked.
One of these days, it's gonna be me. This life that I've chosen, it only ends one way.
Damn.
You're just gonna spend your life hiding down here in this cave, waiting to die.
Damn.
I'm not gonna wait with you, because if there's one thing that today has taught me, it is that life is precious. And I want so much more out of mine than this.
That scene was so great. Like, I don't even have a lot of words for that. It's just, that scene was so great. I paused no less than 3 times. There were so many just lines in there that were so fucking good. Maybe it's not that this season went more dark. It's that in the slower moments, they embraced a lot more of the realness and the possibilities that, yeah, there is a chance Oliver is going to die down here one day. And Felicity is also right to say that she doesn't want that, because she absolutely does deserve better than that, and it's a good thing that she realized that. But at the same time, Oliver's saying that he's not allowed to grieve because then nobody else gets to. I relate to that a lot. It's like, I don't get to complain when something bad happens to me because then nobody else gets to. I absolutely empathize with that. I feel that. It feels like you're being selfish and you don't want to be selfish. You need to lead. You need to set an example. This was such a good scene, man. What happened to the fern? Where's the fern? Where'd the fern go? I'm sorry, one of these days I will stop abusing the bathos trope, dude. I swear one of these days I will.
Why would someone want to kill you?
I have no idea.
John Burke and Tim Kaufman, they were also shot dead with arrows, and they're too dead to tell me why.
We're all working on a deal to build an oil pipeline for Ameritech.
Ameritech. Oh, and now he's dead. I believe Ameritech is actually a company in DC Comics. There's like 3 different Ameritechs active in the Arrowverse at any given time. I know this is just a name drop, but then Supergirl Season 4 actually uses them, and there might be another one that I'm not aware of.
Hey, Thea, it's me, again. I don't know if you're getting these messages, but I would really like to talk to you, so please, just call me back.
I get where he's coming from. My sister is leaving for college in a few weeks. I get it.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh my god, now is not the time. Now is literally not the time.
It was during the siege. We were gonna run away together, but I couldn't leave without helping you fight. And when I came back, she was gone. I didn't say anything, because this is my fault. She knew I was lying to her the entire time. I'm sorry, I didn't say anything about the letter. I know that I should have.
No, you shouldn't have said anything about it now. You should have waited and let Oliver grieve. I know it's a little blurry here because of when I paused, but I do believe this is the same logo that they use for Ameritech on Supergirl.
Looks like Ameritech was trying to strike an oil deal.
And someone paid LaCroix to stop it.
None of this explains how Sarah was involved.
Sarah once told me she worked in Kuroki.
You're saying she might have brought her work home with her. Who authorized the payments?
A board member of Ameritech called Tom Weston.
He's LaCroix's next target. What's his location?
Palmer Tech Building.
I'm coming with you.
Hey, Sarah took that gun out of that drawer before.
What are you doing?
It needs to be done. Don't you dare tell me to stay put and think that I'll listen. You know me better than that.
I won't let him escape again.
Your dumbass should have tried to stop him the first time!
Given all that has befallen this city, it's easy for us to lose hope. But we, the city's most affluent businessmen and women, hold its future in our hands. I will give away half of my net worth to the benefit of our home.
Holy fuck.
And this will be my salary for the year. So tonight, I invite you all to join me in this investment. The city is my home, but it's yours too. So help make Star City our future.
Damn. Roy being used in an action scene? Holy shit. Yeah, I didn't see any punches that lined up with those sound effects. It keeps cutting away! Whoa, that was so cool! That's a thumbnail shot right there.
So you're the Arrow. Thought you'd be taller.
Actually, I like his voice. Did Oliver catch it and shoot it back at him? Good to know Oliver can catch arrows too, then.
Oh, shit.
Do I even need to ask how Laurel got here?
2 nights ago, you put an arrow in her chest.
2 nights ago, I was drunk in Bloodhaven. I'm proud of my work. I wouldn't deny it. Well, if you pull that trigger.
You took the bullets out of the gun.
Because he's not stupid.
LaCroix's alibi checks out.
2 murders in Bloodhaven, same MO. Same night Sarah was killed.
I almost killed a Cray.
The only thing that matters is you didn't.
But let's all just acknowledge the fact that if Oliver wasn't as smart as he is, if Oliver was slightly more of a dumbass, Laurel would have killed a guy that isn't innocent by any means, but is certainly not guilty of the crime she was accusing him of. At the same time, though, it would not have been Laurel's first kill in this show. Oh, she was still shooting!
And you won't be charged in daily shooting. It's clearly self-defense.
I'm going to find whoever did this, but I don't know when. Your father deserves to know.
I agree.
And you deserve to know the truth. And
Sorry, sweetheart. Damn thing goes off every hour if I don't take my pills.
The way he knocks over the photo of Sarah and Laurel together. Also, hearing... I believe he does have a heart condition. So hearing that he's like, oh, I gotta take my pills... That's kind of the final thing that actually pushes her to keep the secret, because medically speaking, he might not be able to handle it. So in that sense, I actually do kind of understand not telling him, and it's the frickin' CW, so you know this shit is not going to end well. You can have the best intentions in the world, and the CW will still vilify you for keeping a secret. Any secret. And it is starting. Oh, it is starting. Oh, and here we are. Oh, they're burying her in her grave. I'm gonna be a crazy person here. I'm gonna go back to Vendetta and see if the surrounding graves are the same. They are absolutely fucking not, and there is a path here. Yeah, you can see an heir to the demon. There's a fence behind Sarah's headstone. Which means that this is the 3rd different canonical location of Sarah's grave. Now, yes, there are obviously real-world examples of cemeteries being moved for one reason or another, but I find it very unlikely that the cemetery containing Sarah's grave was moved twice in 2 years. I actually do like that they have Felicity do this and throw the dirt on her grave, because Felicity is Jewish, and that's a Jewish tradition, I believe.
Jewish custom.
Yeah, see, they just acknowledge it. They didn't have to have Felicity do that, and they chose to, and it's awesome.
She doesn't even get a fresh grave.
Oh, fuck!
She deserves a proper burial. She's earned it.
Damn. This is a really good scene, actually.
Me and Lila were naming the baby Sarah.
Baby Sarah.
Do you have any idea who I am?
You're Thomas Merlin.
Oliver's speaking in his present-day tone.
You've come looking for Oliver Queen. A simple hack of a missing billionaire's email account. I knew somebody would come looking for him.
So Oliver didn't...
He's rotting at the bottom of the ocean.
I do appreciate that Maseo went along with this, though. He didn't have to. Dude, I know what scene this is. I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description, but I saw an Arrow edit a couple weeks ago. I got to see this scene, and I forgot this scene was a thing. It's one of those scenes that really made me want to look forward to season 3.
John, I don't want to die down here.
I want to hear that again.
I don't want to die down here.
Do I need to explain why that line is fucking awesome? I think it's a little premature to say it, but that is going to be one of my favorite moments in this entire show. Oh, Laurel found the shark toy. I know that even just barely acknowledging any background music with lyrics has a very, very large chance to get a video struck down into oblivion, but I really want to compliment the people that chose the background song for this scene. I don't know what it's called, but it is very fitting.
But which one am I? The man or the one behind the mask?
Ooh, that's a good... This is a really good song choice, actually, for this scene.
Changed your mind.
Just decided I want more out of life.
That's completely fair. Welcome to Corner Maltese! Note that the scene where we find out who Malcolm Merlin is, he is also doing this, although he is straight up fencing, whereas Thea's stick fighting. Just in case anyone was curious about whether or not the writers intended this to be a final season.
Well done.
Thanks, Dad.
Hearing her call Malcolm Dad is also kind of fucked up, considering she tried to shoot him last season. I've spent 2 seasons with Thea's old haircut, too. I brought this up when I talked about Quentin's new haircut. What do you guys think about Thea's season 3 haircut? The first season of Arrow that I watched was season 4, so Thea had this haircut when I started watching the show. I watched the end of 3, then I watched 4 and 5, and then I went back and watched seasons 1 and 2. So I was not used to Thea having the haircut that she had in those first 2 seasons. And now I'm not as used to Thea's hair again here. But it looks good on Willa Holland, so... The major facet of what makes this episode so great is how it handles the stakes around Sara's death. This major event and how it looms over the story is the entire reason we get the characterization that we get in this episode. We get to see how Sara's death impacts our characters in a massive way, and the episode is absolutely better off for it. In fact, really the only character that we don't really get much from is Dig, and even he names his daughter after Sara, which at least implies a mutual respect that the two had for each other. The blueprint of the episode really allows our characters to truly flourish, and it's also not afraid to embrace its dark tone. The fact that they have to stuff Sara's body in the freezer of the club, or that she doesn't even get a fresh grave, are just some of the examples of the show pushing the boundaries that seasons 1 and 2 didn't dare to touch. I think that if fans of Arrow Season 5 gave these first 2 episodes even half of a chance, they would really enjoy them. There are just a few imperfections that prevent me from giving plot a 5. For example, Oliver doesn't even attempt to shoot Komodo as he's getting away. Yeah, he was injured, but we've seen Oliver shake off injuries worse than that before, like, you know. And how did Laurel get to the exact floor that Oliver and Komodo were on in the 3rd act? They may not be things that you'd notice on your first time around, but if you do notice them, they will be very hard to ignore. Every major character is written beautifully in this episode, and we wouldn't have gotten characterization this good without the catalyst of Sara's death. I really sympathize with how Oliver is written in this episode, and Oliver saying, "I don't want to die down here," is one of the greatest lines in the entire series, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Laurel, meanwhile, goes all in on wanting revenge, and I actually really like this direction from her. She's come a long way since Heir to the Demon, because now she actually cares about her family, which is not something Season 2 Laurel would have done with all that anger and jealousy boiling inside of her. I thought the most surprising reaction, though, came from Felicity. Sara's death is the final nail in the coffin that allows her to break away and begin enjoying life again. Felicity's grief is just handled really well, and I think that the emphasis she gets as the series' female lead sets her up perfectly for the secret origin of Felicity Smoke later in the season. There are a few shots that stand out, but the visuals are very average. Neither of these first 2 episodes have given me the impression that there was a clear budget increase like I felt with Season 2. Not to mention, there's too many cutaways in the fights, and sound effects where they have no business being. But the motorcycle fight between Oliver and Komodo is laughably bad. I feel like this is an episode you can't skip, as it not only further establishes the direction the characters are going this season, but also finally establishes the goal of the first half of the season. All in all, I definitely consider this to be one of the better written episodes this season, which makes it very enjoyable in my book. I think people who are fans of action will be very disappointed, but so long as you know what you're getting into, this one will be more than worth your time. That gives Sara a score of 20 out of 25, which, again, is a lot higher than I was expecting. Now let's get into the wrap-up. I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, since we are only 2 episodes in after all, but this season is shaping up to be really great so far, and I'm looking forward to breaking down the rest of the season. If you haven't noticed, I'm trying to give Season 3 a redemption arc here, and show Arrow fans who didn't like the season a bit more about why they should. Out of Arrow's bad seasons, this is definitely the best one in my opinion, and I hope you stick around so that I can show you why. I'm going to say this right now, I think I can justify most of the season getting full breakdowns. There's a lot to talk about with this season, and the next episode has the best intro thesis segment I've written for this series so far. You'll see when we get there. But anyway, that is it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you can join us as soon as freaking possible. And while I'm plugging everything else, be sure to click the bell so that you get notified whenever we upload one of these crappy videos. But apart from that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. This is Demigod Shmurda. Edge!